How to build a Luigi's Box reports in Google Analytics 4. Welcome. In this video, we will show you how to see the performance of your Luigi's Box features, or how to compare the quality of traffic which interacted with Luigi's Box features and the rest of the users. The best way how to do it is to build a custom exploration in Google Analytics 4. So let's navigate into the Exploration tab in your Google Analytics 4 property and start a new exploration by clicking the plus sign. The first thing you need to do in order to build a report is to create segments of users who used Luigi's Box and the ones that didn't. Let's take a look at how to create such segments. Add a new segment by clicking the plus button. Choose the user segment, and in Conditions, search for an event called Luigi's Box. Name your segment, for example, Luigi's Box, and save. Now let's create another segment, this time excluding all the users who use Luigi's Box services. Add a new segment, delete the include group, and add a new group to exclude. Now apply the same condition to include an event called Luigi's Box. You can name your event, for example, without Luigi's Box. Now we have two basic segments for users who used Luigi's Box and the ones who didn't. But sometimes we need to be more specific than that. Before I will explain you why, let's stop for a minute to explain how Luigi's Box tracking works. Every time user interacts with our tools, we will send an event called Luigi's Box into Google Analytics 4. This event contains additional data about the actual features that were used, such as recommender, autocomplete, search, etc. This information is written into an event parameter called service and usually contains values such as LB recommender or LB search. But sometimes, we compare the Luigi's Box features to the original solution. In this case, the service parameter will contain information about those solutions within the same Luigi's Box event. So if you filter the event Luigi's Box, you will include users who use the original search or original recommender as well. To prevent this situation, we need to create segments by filtering particular services, not just a Luigi's Box event. So let's create such a segment. Create a new segment. Choose the user segment and add a condition based on a service parameter of your event. So let's search for a service dimension. Name your segment, for example, Luigi's Box service, and add a condition contains. Click on the input field and you will see a list of all event parameters that were sent within the Luigi's Box event. We can see the two Luigi's Box services, Luigi's Box Search and Luigi's Box Autocomplete, and two original services, Original Search and Original Autocomplete. So let's select the Luigi's Box services first. Click the Luigi's Box Search, and at any point in time, add an OR condition and choose Service Dimension. Add contains and select Luigi's Box Autocomplete at any point in time. Then you can create a new segment for users who didn't interact with Luigi's Box services. So let's create a new segment. Choose User Segment, delete the include group, and add the exclude group. The condition will be the same. Find the service dimension and add the Luigi's Box services. You can also create a new segment for original services. Create a new segment, choose User Segment, and add similar conditions for original services. Save and apply. Or if you want to see a performance of an original service, you can include only those. It is pretty much up to you in what way you want to compare the data. For example, you can create segments for each service separately. When your segments are created, you can use them in the report by dragging and dropping them into segment comparison. We recommend putting them into rows instead of columns. The next thing we need to do in order to build our report is to add metrics we want to compare. This part is, of course, up to you, but usually you want to compare the basic metrics such as the number of users or bounce rate, and of course the main KPIs like the number of conversions, purchases, conversion rate, or revenue. So let's add the metrics to the report. Click the plus button and choose the metrics you want to see. Let's say total users, conversions, purchases, conversion rate, and then apply them by dragging and dropping them into values. Our first report is done. We can see the number of users, conversions, and purchases for the particular segments that we previously created. But when you look at the conversion rate, you will see it is pretty unrealistically high. This is caused by the fact that the conversion rate is currently calculated from all conversions, including the micro conversions such as website engagement, scroll, etc. If we want to calculate the conversion rate just for purchases, we need to filter purchases as a conversion. Let me show you how. Add a new dimension and search for a dimension called event name. Click and import. Now let's go into the filters and create a new filter based on an event name dimension. Choose the match type matches the regular expression. Then insert two events. The first one is the session start, then add a divider, and then add the purchase. Now the conversion rate is calculated only for purchases. So let's look at the filter one more time. What we did here is that we actually filtered all the users that started a session, which is the first event, and then purchased. If we used only the purchase event as a filter, we would see only the users with purchases, and therefore our conversion rate will be 100%. Now that your basic report is ready, you can break it down by other dimensions such as region or country, device, traffic source, etc. It's completely up to you. If you want to add a dimension, click on a plus sign near dimensions, choose the dimension, for example device category, apply and drag and drop the dimension into rows or columns of your report. Now we are able to see results for different segments divided into device categories. The last thing you need to do now is to share the report with others, as explorations are, by default, visible only to their creators. You can do that by clicking the Share Explorations and then the Share button.